Janelle here, your menopause nutritionist. Today I'm going to give you my whole HRT story because yesterday I went to a new doctor who has a menopause clinic, and when I was talking her through my HRT experience, I was like, okay, I actually need to document my whole journey so you understand where I sit here and also understand why I've actually just got a new doctor. I think also I'm passionate about being open with you about everything I do. Like I share as much as I can to help others on their journey. And actually that just reminds me that I was listening to a really interesting podcast yesterday about mental health. I have quite a big mental health story that I need to share and kind of update those of you who haven't heard that one. And it's funny because I actually don't think about it now, but that's another story that we will be sharing shortly. So stay tuned for that one. But I share this because I truly believe as humans we're here to connect with each other and that we're meant to help each other. So by sharing, if it helps one other person, then that is worth it. So I also feel like the more I've learned about HRT and this experience, obviously I work with menopausal women, that's my job, and I feel super grateful that I get to share my own experience and my education to help others be better, that this conversation we need more of it. You know, we need more education, we need more people sharing so we know the most to make the best decisions for ourselves. So before we get started on this, because I really am going to give you my full story this time, I just want to remind you, if you are interested in mastering your nutrition and lifestyle, that is my zone of genius, and I have a program that I run, my Thrive for Menopause program. So the current Thrive program is going, but the wait list for my last one for this year, which will start in September, is currently going. So jump over there to the wait list. I will pop the link here so you can join and stay updated. There's an awesome bonus and discounts and inclusions if you are on that wait list and join. So it's really the place to be if you do want to join the program. And I will link arms with you and help you master your nutrition and lifestyle. Okay, let's talk about HRT. This is my story. So my story has changed over the years. So that's why I wanted to give you a framework of the current story. And you'll understand as I talk why I'm saying it's changed. Because initially, at the age of 44, I started getting menopausal symptoms. And at that time, I thought I was having perimenopause symptoms. I was having hot flushes. I was waking in the night, I had hot sweats. I was getting heart palpitations. I had brain fog. I had to nap every day. Like all of these symptoms that are very much perimenopause symptoms. And that is what I thought it was. However, it actually wasn't that. So I went to the doctor, and she actually, I went to the doctor initially because I was having really bad bleeding as well. I was bleeding for a couple of weeks, and they did a scan and they called it something. I can't remember what it was. I need to dig the actual results out. I can't remember. It was some condition. And I got sent in for an ablation and a Mirena got put in. So that was the first thing. So maybe in that period of time, there was no mention of perimenopause at all, or zip. Then a couple of years later, I went through a very stressful time and I had this resurgence of symptoms again. We know stress, super high probability of triggering symptoms. So I'm not sure if that is really the start of my perimenopause journey. I'll give you my update on what I do think definitely it was. But it happened again, and so I went to the doctor then, and she mentioned HRT. And when she mentioned HRT, I was like, I don't know what that is. And in our conversation together, I didn't really get enough information to feel like I knew from my doctor. So I went away and I went, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't know what it is. And this is why I talk so much about it now, because if that's how I felt, there's other women out there the same who are not understanding. So they're like, okay, that's it, shut the door on it. And that's actually what I did. And then I looked at my lifestyle and started, because I had that menopausal belly fat that came. And so I started intermittent fasting, and like the things I teach on my program, I started implementing them. And in the process of that, I was an athlete. So my process was actually to educate myself to become a sports nutritionist. So I am actually a sports nutritionist, but to be a sports nutritionist, you have to do normal nutrition first. That's like the platform, and then you specialize into sports nutrition. So I am a sports nutritionist. However, over the period of my learning and education, started sharing about my menopause stuff. And so I've landed here as your menopause nutritionist. So I get to help people with sports nutrition when they pop up, but it just doesn't happen that often. Actually, someone did the other day. I must follow them up. So it's quite different, sports nutrition. There's quite a lot more involved because you're dealing with heart rates and different sports and different energy systems and all of that sort of stuff. But my focus was actually to become a sports nutritionist because I wanted to help other masters athletes like myself, because I realized I didn't know much, so I figured other people would need the same help. But this is where I've landed right here in menopause. So I'm your menopause nutritionist. So along the way, that is kind of where I was. And as I started implementing these like nutritional changes and lifestyle changes and ticking the boxes, my symptoms went away, I thought. Except that about 4 years ago, I started getting sore elbows. And that is really what I kind of landmark now, my perimenopause, because we know musculoskeletal symptom of menopause is a very high symptom, like 70% of women or something experience it. So that's aches, pains, joints, like inflammation, plantar fasciitis, which I happen to get that as well. Horrible. If you've had plantar fasciitis, awful. Frozen shoulder, any type of itis, arthritis, like that sort of stuff. Very common. So for me, it was my elbows. And that is initially why I wanted to look into HRT, because when I started research, I'm big on the research. I started researching into this musculoskeletal symptom of menopause. I'm like, if hormones can help me fix this, because my elbows were so painful and I was sick. I went through this year where every time I lifted the barbell, I felt like I pulled a muscle. It was ridiculous. So I was like, okay, that is what sent me to the doctor. And I ended up, when I went to my GP, she was kind of helpful, but I felt like there was resistance and still not a great, awesome communication. I went to another GP who I heard was better with hormones. So I went to see her. She gave me estrogen, progesterone, and I started what I thought was HRT. Then I actually got some testosterone. It was compounded. So I started testosterone as well. And then down the track, to be fair, it was one of my best friends. I was in New Zealand, so this was January. So January this year, I was in New Zealand visiting her, and she said to me, she's a nurse, and she said to me, Chanel, you know that vaginal estrogen is not HRT. And I was like, what? And so this doctor that I went to, she didn't explain to me that vaginal estrogen is not systemic. So it's just localized to the vagina. So I talk about vaginal estrogen like skincare for my vagina. That's what it is. It's just localized to the vagina. As we age and go through this stage, things get dry down there, the skin gets thin, tissues start like not being damaged. So it's really important to protect her and look after her, and vaginal estrogen is what we need. So sure, I had vaginal estrogen, but I actually wasn't on proper estrogen. So then, of course, do you think my elbows were getting any better? No, they weren't, because I wasn't on systemic estrogen. So over the period of time, and this is, I suppose, when I went to this hormonal doctor, when I was like, right, I'm going to get on HRT, there was a period of time where I didn't really still understand what HRT was. Now, I have done quite a few episodes now talking about HRT, but I want to just revisit this because I think it's important. This is how I came to terms with understanding how HRT worked in my body and making the decision for myself that this is the right thing I wanted to try. When we look at birth control, which everyone knows, because when we're younger, we're trying to stop getting pregnant. That is exactly what it's doing. It is stopping a process in the body. Birth control is synthetic as well. They are not natural hormones, they are synthetic hormones. It is quite different. So bearing in mind, the birth control stops a process. When we look at HRT, if we look like this and these are our hormone levels, and then as we go through menopause, our ovaries are what produces the hormones, and we stop making eggs, so then our hormones are dropping. So what HRT is doing is bringing those hormone levels back up to homeostasis. So they're back on track. They're not down here at 0. So that's what HRT is. It's not stopping a process, it's just replenishing the hormones that we actually are supposed to have. Now, if you were a type 1 diabetic, you would inject yourself with insulin because you don't have any. If your thyroid wasn't working, you would take thyroxine, which is a hormone. So this is where, when we understand the process, we're just giving our body back the hormone that it actually wants. That's what HRT is, and my understanding of that allowed me to then progress and want to try this. I wanted to just touch on that because I feel like a lot of women don't understand the process of HRT. And by no means am I sharing this to try and tell you that this is what you have to do. This is such a personal decision based on so many factors that you have to work out for yourself. And when you have worked that out and made that choice, that is where you sit, that is 100% fine. There's no judgment. I don't think it's right or wrong whether you do or don't. I just know I've made choices based on how I feel and what I want for my body, and that's all that matters. So no judgment, no, this is just information and me sharing my story. Because here's the thing, so I find out, I go to this doctor, I think I'm on HRT, I'm actually not. I'm taking progesterone, I'm taking vaginal estrogen, which is not systemic, so it's not helping any of the symptoms that I'm actually experiencing. So this is problematic, and this is why I have seen a new doctor yesterday, because she has a menopause clinic, and she actually was at the clinical conference that I attended in Sydney with some of the world leaders like Dr. von der Wright and Dr. Kelly Casperson and Dr. Mary Claire Haber and Dr. Louise Newsom, who I love. Like, these women were teaching us, and this is what is important, to try and find someone that can help you. So when I was talking to her yesterday and giving her my backstory, I'm like, I need to explain this story so people understand why it's so important to find a good doctor in the first place. This is my journey, after I went to the clinical conference, I felt so I felt so full of information, and I went back to my normal GP because I was like, right, go back to my normal GP. So she did put me on HRT, so the gel, I'm taking the estrogen gel, and I was already taking the progesterone, and I've kept taking the vaginal estrogen because I think it's really helpful to like for down there and helping you stay on top of things. And so then I asked her about testosterone, and it was like she was like fearful about it. And so I just went to a new doctor yesterday, Dr. M, because I know she has had the training that I have just had and more. She's a doctor, I'm not a doctor, but I know she is up to date on the latest. And this is important because some of the GPs are not getting the latest information. So I wanted to come on here and give you like the full story. So, and then when I saw her yesterday, she made me, she asked me, that didn't sound good. She asked me to fill out a symptom form because this is the best way of them understanding. Because I said to her, well, so I've been using the estrogen now, and how do I know if I'm on the right dose? So she's like, okay, well, we're going to fill this out and I'm going to like go from there. So she's actually changed my dose and we're testing out a new dose. And I'm going to show you, obviously those of you that are listening cannot see this, but this is my order. Now, when you get estrogen, you apparently, if you get the double box, so you get estrogen and progesterone together, which I have not been getting, it's cheaper. So I just got that. So I've got, you take estrogen in a gel and then progesterone in a tablet, so you get both of those. And then I've got, and I got testosterone as well. Now this testosterone is on the PBS. No, it's not on the PBS. We're trying to get it on the PBS. So actually what I might try and do is put the link to the, we need to get 10,000 signatures, and I think we've only got 3,000 signatures to get this on the PBS. So this is, Australia is only one of 3 countries that actually women can get testosterone like as a script. One of 3 countries. And so we're trying here in Australia to get this particular one, the Androfem testosterone cream, put on the PBS. Men have got 9 options of testosterone. We're just asking for 1. So I'm going to pop the link here, and if you guys can sign the petition, let's get at least 1 testosterone cream discounted for Australian women. I think that would be amazing. So I haven't used this one yet, and I'm going to start using this. So that I have used testosterone before, but this is obviously a new one, and that is my update. So like I said, I did take testosterone, and I don't know how, I mean, there's lots of different things it does, so I can't tell you straight up exactly. I just was kind of going off like, was I still getting stronger? Like, I'm not really sure. Like, and I talked a little bit to Dr. M about this, like, how do you exactly know if testosterone is working? Testosterone obviously has been like used for libido, and I kind of feel fine in that department. So, but there's lots of other reasons why it would be helpful for the body. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. Obviously, I help menopausal women on their journey. To me, HRT is just another tool in our tool belt. It's not a magic bullet that's gonna make you feel like amazing and lose weight and all of this stuff like just by taking it. It's another tool to help you alongside of prioritizing your nutrition, getting your movement in, building muscle, you know, getting your steps in, sleeping well, all of the things that we tick off the box in my program. And I want you to know that these days there's some really great resources. So where we're doing a book club on my latest program, we're doing The Menopause Brain by Dr. Lisa Mosconi. Now, if you're not understanding about HRT, there's Dr. Louise, she's got a book, Dr. Louise Newsom, Dr. Mary Claire Haver. There's lots of really awesome books that help you understand. So I just feel like if you're still not sure, then educate yourself and ask questions. And I want you to know that there's options, there's just options, and just try and find a doctor who can help you, that you can trust and you can talk to. I would love, love, love to hear your experiences or questions. So please, this is a conversation I really feel like needs to be open and had more often, a lot more in this society. And I think the cool thing is it's happening now, but we just still need to really make it the norm. So I encourage you to comment below, share your experience. Has it been a good one? Has it been confusing like mine? I hope, have you had a good outcome, or are you still waiting to find out what to do? I would love to hear, or any questions, comments, concerns. Please, let's keep this conversation going. If you have a friend or family member who also needs help on their menopausal journey, please send this to them. Please share. I'm trying to share as much information as I can. And I feel like I met some ladies the other day here in Brisbane. They live quite close to me, and they're like, why have we not known about what you're doing? So I would love you to share it. It would be amazing if you could do that. I truly hope this has been helpful. Thanks for hanging in there if you've listened to all of it. Have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to chatting to you again soon.